Good morning and welcome to my Sinew backing workshop right here. You know, it's a beautiful day and there is absolutely no reason for me to be inside doing this process when I can be out here breathing the fresh air, gluing elk tendons, elk sinew onto the back of my northern white cedar bow. And you know that it's not a juniper bow because it's not a juniperus, it's a thuja. The purpose of this video, my reason for being here, assaulting you with my yapping on incessantly about bows and sinew backing, it's all about fun. You have to have fun. Uh-oh, there's a globe hidden there. I also have my eyepieces. Tangent. John gets into tangents. This is a .965 eyepiece compared to a 1.25. Zoom in on this. And I want to show you what arrived yesterday. This is a 2-inch eyepiece. Look at that beast. Beautiful. But anyway, back to the subject of this video, is that I want you to get in the sinew backing and bow making. If you haven't started now, don't let it intimidate you whatsoever. Don't let there be any fear about it. And this is a perfect example. This is just made from like a white cedar sapling. Look at that. You can see how crowned that back is. That's the outer surface of the tree. I basically just split it. And being white cedar, Thuja occidentalis, it dries almost instantly. You can cut a live cedar, take the bark off, split it, and in a matter of days it'll be down to its moisture level. There is no letting it sit around for months and months to dry out. This stuff is just instantly dry. The drawback is it's going to be limited to 30 pounds or so. It's about 68, 69 inches long, so I can get, you know, a good draw length, a full 28-inch draw length. Because the bend radius, you know, it's a function of how long the bow is. It's not a little short bow that you're going to stick in your quiver by any means. However, it will be a very fast 30-pound bow because the limbs are almost weightless. As I yammered on incessantly, you know, in my diatribe of common names, you know, the junipers and cedar, notwithstanding whatever. Okay, so here's the scheme of things. I am basically just playing. I'm going to make a nice little bow. Didn't take any time to make, basically. The nice thing is that cedar is so apt to absorbing glue. The sizing process, sizing is just, you know, building up a glue layer there before you stick something down so you don't have a dry joint. So the glue on the sinew that gets on there doesn't get absorbed and, you know, it delaminates or peels off. Easy wood to work with. And also I have as much sinew as I have. You know, I am not going for a perfectly fine job. 25% of the thickness of the bow. No gaps, no problems with braiding. I'm going to be able to see some wood and spots because I don't have enough sinew to put on 2.5 perfect layers. Whatever. This sinew that I have, enough to probably give it a thin coating, will be more than enough to protect that back from breaking. I could, if I wanted, I could have recurved this bow. I could have strung it backwards in preparation of sinew backing to build some reflex in it. But you don't get free stuff for nothing. You know, it's like anything. There's always a cost to whatever you do. And in this case, if I was to reflex it and sinew back it, or recurve it and sinew back it, it's going to stress the limbs a little bit more. You're building stress into that belly, the area of that bow that has compression. So, you know, I follow the whatever principle. It's going to be a fine bow, just straight, not worrying about it. Carve it out, throw some sinew on the back, and let it dry, and away we go. It'll be a nice workable bow. Now the tips, as I dive them into the ground, you notice they kind of go to a point more or less. This is a way to have it so I don't even necessarily have to put string grooves into there. If I have a tied-on end and a slip loop, you know, a loop that is a choking loop, it's enough because of that change in width to just keep that string on there. I may just make a little wedge and then sinew it to the back to keep the string from sliding down, but in this case, string grooves are easy. I don't need to go out if I'm making it with rocks, sharpened flakes. I don't need to even worry about making string grooves. All I need to do is split it, which you can yell at Cedar, and it splits just from the fear, just from your mighty yelp of being a bow maker. You know, split it, and then, you know, a rough piece of sandstone, you can tiller it. The process of preparing sinew is nothing more technological than banging on a tendon with a rack against another rack. Now, some notes on sinew backing. You have, let me grab one of these little bundles here. It is important to get these things as even as possible. Your whole pile, I've got them spread all over the place, your whole pile of little tiny bundles should be more or less even. Now, it just so happens that you could eyeball them, but a funny thing happens as you make them thicker, you know, the bigger bundles, just making bundles of more sinew, is that the bigger they are, the harder it is to make sure that they're even. If you make small bundles, laying on more, you know, the same amount, but more little bundles, little bundlettes, the smaller ones can be more even. It's just easier to judge them. The room for error changes, so it evens them out quite a bit. In this case, this is a fast and dirty sinew job. I'm not going to worry so much about perfection on this. You don't need to, because sinew is such a marvelous material that it compensates for one's lack of precision. As long as you overlap, I lay one down, and then the next one will be overlapped, you know, an inch and a half, 2 inches or so. It works with you. I want you to remember this. Sinew loves you. Sinew is your friend. Sinew will do everything possible to make you successful. Believe in sinew. Love the sinew. Overcome your fear, overcome that inertia, and whether it's eBay or you find a dead deer laying on the ground somewhere, which happens, you know, depending on where you live, you cut out the tendons, dry them on the hood of your car or a rock in the sun, and then just pound them with a rock, and then pull them apart. It's just that simple. Hide glue. You can't really see it, it's obscured, but I have a hot plate here. And then I have this little pan, which is covered with years of accumulation of little sinew globs. I'll fill it with water to the point where this tub I have, I'm now using a little Tupperware thing. I used to use a big coffee mug with my hide glue mixture. I'm not using Titebond, you can, you know, but I like the warmth. The warm, fuzzy feeling of dipping your hands in hot hide glue. And then it just sits in there. Not a double boiler, but similar because I'm not boiling it. What other notes? Okay, so you bought your bag of hide glue. And it's usually dried, it's flaked. It's the same stuff that you would use if you were building violins or cellos. It's the same thing. You can buy this stuff from an instrument, say supply house, a luthier supply house. You can also buy it from Pine Hollow Longbows, or I'm sure like other suppliers out there, you can buy it on eBay. It's no big deal. And you're saying, John, how much do I mix it? Well, I'll take my container, an empty container, and I'll fill it a little less than half full with the hide glue, the dried flaked hide glue, and then fill the remaining volume with water. And that makes a decent mix. You could probably use less, you could probably have a deeper solution, a thicker solution, but if you have that container, fill it a little less than half with the flaked hide glue, and then the rest with water, you're golden. That will work. Now the question might come up, John, are you going to wrap this with gauze or whatever? No sir, no ma'am. This is just a primordial bow, a primitive bow. So I'm not even going to bother with wrapping this thing. I'm going to stick the tendons on there, and they're going to dry. They're going to have a lovely texture. It's going to contrast with the uneven shape of this bow, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be my art project for today. Well, that is about it. There are several lessons in here, I guess. The size of the bundles, you know, how do you prepare sinew? You just pound it with a rock and then split it apart, literally pull it apart. Hot hide glue, the mixture of hide glue. cedar bows, juniper bows, cedar bows, juniper bows. That one video I made makes me laugh at that point where it's like cedar, cedar, cedar. What the hell is cedar? The major lesson here, the biggest thing that I want to impart to you is the simplicity of sinew backing. Simplicity. It's nothing to be afraid of. Even in the worst case where you sinew back a bow and the bow breaks because of compression failure, don't waste that sinew. Just soak it in water until you can lift those fibers off. Soak it some more and you can pull them back into their respective parts and reuse them. And with that, my globe here, and I say farewell, and if you have any questions, by all means, ask. Just ask. I'm here to help. Hopefully by now you realize that I am accessible and I do my best, although sometimes YouTube doesn't give me a notification if I've had a question or a comment on my video. So I truly apologize if you've left a comment or had a question and I didn't answer it. It was an honest mistake on my part. I honestly didn't see it because the notification didn't come through. So on any of my videos, you can go off the reservation. You don't need to have a question or a comment. If you want to talk about Bigfoot, you know, on a bow bit video that has to do with sinew backing, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fair. That is legal because we are all friends here. And the purpose is just to have a conversation. Thumbs up means the video is over.